Hello, my name is Jackson, and I'm here today to talk to you about a Tera digital scanner. This particular model is our HW0009 model. It comes with a charging base and does 1D and 2D scanning. In particular, it's got an on-screen menu that allows for, in particular, inventory modes and a few other features. We're going to go over some of those features today. Basic function, starting with interface. So all of our scanners come with at least two and usually a third mode for the higher end stuff, like the base model 5100 is only going to have the wired connection where, and this one has it too, you can see the scanner itself can plug in with sort of like the printer style USB cable directly into a computer, and then it's going to work by default in the HID mode, which is human interface device, to scan as a keyboard. Um, then you can also connect with 2.4 gigahertz wireless connection also into a PC with a USB dongle. And with these devices, if you hold the uh, trigger for 8 seconds, it's going to put it into Bluetooth pairing mode. And for iOS devices, Android, and of course Windows, when it's blinking like this, you should be able to find the device as Bluetooth. Uh, so let me take a moment here and pair. Uh, Another thing to note is if you double tap the trigger, that is going to take it out of the pairing mode. So if your device ever gets stopped in the pairing mode, um, just double press, almost like a mouse double click. But for these guys, if you look at the bottom, just like with the dongles, they pair, and there's options in the manual to repair the pairing mode as needed. By default from the factory, they will have paired the device with its dongle. Um, Same thing with these, which instead of the dongle, they have cradles. So they've got direct wire through the base of the scanner, and then it is paired with its own cradle. And there's a handy 2D barcode on the base of the cradle to allow the scanner itself to pair with its cradle. So then it's sending the 2.4 gigahertz wireless signal from the scanner on each scan into the cradle, which is why this is technically a hardwired connection, because it's this device that is wired to your machine. But again, wireless in function as long as you stay near to the cradle. And the default cord, I think, is 3 foot, as is pretty standard. Um, so then, basic function. I've got a Tera digital manual here, and you'll see here, this is the front cover that comes on the scanner out of the box. I peeled it off for purposes of this demonstration, but it gives a layout of the menu, which we'll go over for the scanner itself, which is really important if you're using it to store barcodes. One of the uses that you might want this product for, as it's more expensive than a base 5100 or 8100, is that you could store like several scans. You know, an employee will be working on a truck, scanning many boxes or door labels or whatever, and they'll need to then dump, you know, whatever number of scans into a system later. There's several modes that can accommodate that and similar features. But here I've just got a 2D barcode. This reads the old style 1D and as well as 2D. And if you're testing the scanner on your first time, most of the settings and modes are going to be what most people use. It's going to be in keyboard output. It's going to be as if it's typing in the keyboard mode. It's going to be set to give a carriage return, like hitting the enter key after each scan. The second most common thing is to use a tab, to where it's jumping over one, like in Excel. So there are lots of options with how to configure how the scanner functions, but most of these are plug and play in that the most common by far set of configurations is going to be out of the factory, and it should pair with its dongle and be pretty easy to pair with Bluetooth. Again, hold down the trigger for 8 seconds, back out of the pairing mode by double click. But if you just take one of these out of the box and it has sufficient charge, you're going to see, we'll get into the menu here, scan there, and you just heard a single beep. If it does a fast beep, like beep beep or beep beep beep, it's either an error in scanning or communication. I think if I unplug it from the base and try to scan that same barcode, we're going to get a failure, not necessarily a failure to read, but a failure to communicate. Well, actually, it's still communicating because I had this paired as Bluetooth. So it did revert to the Bluetooth connection, even though I've unplugged it from the wireless connection to its charger. But something to be cognizant of, you may want to have redundant connections if your system's available and you don't need to reserve those for other things. But other than the basics here, we're going to move on to the menu.